Oh, my goodness. Kanye was busy.
Ugh, the Kanye of it all.
It's not great, guys.
It's terrible.
I don't want to start a show with this, but this is where we're at.
This is where Kanye's at. I mean, if anybody missed this man spewed, how many screenshots did you send today, Mike? 6 or 7 screenshots worth of tweets?
Yeah, I woke up, rolled over, grabbed my phone, did what everyone does right away when they wake up in the mornings, open up social media, and I just saw post after post after post from 3 hours ago, and it was like 45 messages from 4:45 a.m. his time until the next 3 hours just spewing hatred.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. I don't even want to read some of these because it's anti-Semitic. It's embarrassing. I mean, it's insane, unhinged. There's also a point where he's talking about free Puffy. I mean, he wants to have Trump release Puffy from jail.
It's like, what?
Yeah, okay. It's not great. It's not great, guys.
Talking about idolizing Hitler. Yeah. I mean, talking about your jaw just hits the floor.
Yes.
I think the biggest one, and the one I sent you guys initially, is the fact that he made that comment about Bianca.
Yes.
He basically, this was the message. I have dominion over my wife. This saying, and then he goes into more stuff that I can't even clean up for radio, but I'll just say that's the comment he started with.
He said, and then he went on the thing of course I do. I'm a millionaire. She, of course, follows me. Of course. It was so crazy.
She doesn't do anything without my permission.
Oh,
I don't even, the thing is, I don't even think, I think he just does this for attention. I don't really even know if, this, but, you have to take somebody at their word, right? So this is who this person is. Who we are is our actions. Who we are is what we say and what we represent. And so we have to take him at his word. This is who he is.
Did he get kicked in the head by a horse? That's all. That's
one of my biggest fears. I'm not kidding. This is not an LOL moment. I am so scared to be around horses because of so many movies we watched as kids where people get kicked in the head and die.
Don't watch Yellowstone. It's not going to help.
Right?
Yellowstone will have you believe every person who's ever been around a horse will die in the next 5 seconds.
Hey, Brittany. So if you get kicked in the head by a horse and you don't die, and you start just trailing off crazy stuff like this, I might have that horse kick you in the head again. Just to see if it reverts.
I was going to say take away my social media, but at this point you go to a place of finish her.
I said to see if it reverts.
Oh, okay.
And I said what I said.
You mean reverses?
Reverse.
Earlier today, we were having this conversation on Blinded by the Item, and that is when Bradley brought up this interesting point because he was listening to the Breakfast Club podcast, because that's where Wendy has been making some recent appearances, and Charlemagne over there was talking about the fact that he believes this is basically just maybe Kanye saying all this attention being paid to Kendrick Lamar, I don't like it. I want people to pay attention to me. And he went in the middle of this rant on about how I hate rappers. I hate how rappers dress. Rappers are terrible now. Oh, except for, who was it? Ty Dolla $ign. Ty Dolla $ign. He had to just step it back because he's worked with Ty Dolla $ign recently, but just went deep into how he hates the rap game right now.
I'm not always able to say we can apply toddler behavior to grown men, but it does apply sometimes. And hearing that, you see somebody else getting attention and that's bugging you, that's why you're acting out. I absolutely could believe that.
And this isn't just acting out, though.
Oh, yeah.
This is someone with such disgusting views.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's he's just spewing it on the internet, but he is somebody people listen to, and that's disgusting and scary.
I truly don't understand how it seems like women are the only ones who ever get put under guardianships.
Yeah.
You look at Wendy, you look at Brittany, you look at Amanda Bynes. We can name all these women who immediately do anything that someone considers unhinged.
No.
That just is an opinion. But he can rant this off. And this isn't the first time.
Yeah.
And it's just he's just speaking his, what? No, it's really bad views, but he's just speaking his views. Why is it this man needs serious help?
Yeah. You're not wrong. And you're so right. I always say the best example of that, Kendall, is in a time where conservatorships were being handed out to any crazy woman. Charlie Sheen was out here making these interviews, #winning, and nobody ever went to a place of, should we
check on Charlie Sheen and
should we take away his
rights?
Yeah. And they said, no, we're good. He's quirky. Kanye's quirky. He's an artist.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get it, Kendall.
Yeah,
He's an artist.
Right.
It's just, it's so, I don't even, like I said, I don't even want to read these because I go,
yeah,
what are we doing? And it creeps me out. He fills stadiums. He still feels, he can write all this and still fill like stadiums. You go, no wonder anybody who is in these groups that are being attacked are terrified because he can write this and people go, I still want to pay $100 and something to see this man. I still value his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary.
It's so gross.
Ugh.
It's so gross.
No, it's garbage. It is. It really is. And you just go, I don't know what people want from him anymore. Like,
He needs to be committed somewhere. Like, I'm not.
I mean, and maybe it's just like we have to accept like people are out there with this opinion and that's scary. Like,
yeah,
it's scary stuff.
Mm-hmm. On a very different note, but still Kanye related. Mike, I was listening to Blinded today.
yeah.
The Bianca Censori
Man, I hope
twist
this is
of
true.
this. We know what she dressed like on the red carpet, basically naked.
Are not dressed.
Right. Her cheesecloth that was adjusted 6 times, tailored 6 times. There's some rumors going around, though.
There are. And again, this is definitely deep in the blind item world. This is what you would 100% call a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy. But the idea that Bianca Censori is putting up with all of this because she's not dumb and she knows that indeed he does need a conservatorship and she will put him in that conservatorship and she will take control of his assets.
Why can't she go the old fashioned route? Which is marry somebody old
There
and
you
wait
go.
for them to die, not somebody like endorse somebody who's like active on social media.
Touche.
Thank you. I'm all about old family values.
What happened to the Playboy Mansion vibe, you know?
The Bill Belichick of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come on.
totally.
Come on, Bianca. I mean,
I don't know. It would be kind of awesome if that's how it all played out and that she's just playing the long game, pulling the puppet strings behind him. She was the architect of a big part of the company. She's a big reason why he's got the money he's got.
I will always say this, and I get a lot of emails when I say it, but people who marry for money earn their paycheck. Couldn't be me. I can't even have a dinner with somebody that annoys me. The idea of being married to somebody who, gross.
or like someone that annoys you or just is ugly.
Ugly, or you have to have relations with, and
Or
you're not.
somebody who's older than your dad.
Kanye's out here thinking he's a genius, and then you have to like have sex with him.
Never.
No,
Never.
Ew.
Again, I'd go to jail.
I mean, I think you just
Murder.
I think you would not marry this person. I don't think you would marry them and then murder them like Black Widow style. I know you.
She cracked.
I know you. I do know that. In that same Kardashian realm, this is an end of an era. Kris Jenner is officially selling the Kardashian crib. One of the most recognizable homes in pop culture is now hitting the market. Kris Jenner is selling her family's longtime residence, made famous, of course, by the reality show. This Hidden Hills mansion has served as their home base for Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She is asking $13.5 million for this bad boy. 6 rooms, almost 9,000 square feet.
I'm actually surprised it's not going for more just because of the celebrity of it all.
Yeah, I don't know if always that is that big a deal around there.
I suppose.
Sometimes people look at it as a negative, but I don't know.
And you guys think about if you're listening and you're like, okay, why is this so? I mean, if you think of the Kardashians and the 2 giant staircases and the checkerboard flooring, like that is on all their Christmas cards.
Yeah.
It was in so many different parts of the show. Just the entrance alone.
Yeah.
The closet that they would go into and talk about and talk all the time, like the kitchen. They're very famous spaces within this house. We found out 5 or 6. Honestly, sometimes the pandemic really screws up my ability to tell time.
Okay, I'm dumb.
Thank you. And we found out that she hadn't been living there for a long time.
Oh, for
that
5 or 6 years?
Yeah, and like this was a couple years ago that we found out she hadn't been living there for an even longer time, because really since the show really took off, and I'm talking not even the Kardashian spinoff on Hulu, but Keeping Up really took off, she immediately was like, all right, fine, I'm going to go live I'm going to live somewhere more private.
Yeah.
This is just going to be for the show. It's just filming.
Listen, as somebody who watches a lot of reality TV and even watch like the behind the scenes of reality TV, those freaking camera crews will tear up your house, and they have to get in there weeks prior to set up all the things, because especially like a walking shot, they usually put in the I don't know what they're called. It looks like, yes, thank you, like the tracks that the camera goes on. They put cameras everywhere. I mean, ends up being more set than house. So it doesn't blow my mind at all that she goes, I only go there to film.
Yeah.
I don't sleep there. The people do late night stuff, especially if like they are, other family members are filming there or whatever. Like I could totally see her going, yeah, they bust through door frames. All these things happen when people are filming there. So that makes sense.
And you just have like no privacy.
Yeah.
And even though they're known and they are famous because they are so not private, they're still, everybody wants a little privacy. Like, don't know my sacred space.
Yeah. I mean, I think you've earned it, right? Like, I understand if this is like a 1 season thing, or if we're doing a 1 reality show, then I want them in your house. Mm-hmm. But if you're on your 13th season and I'm like, she's got all the leverage to say, I don't want to live here anymore. Right. I will still film here. We will still pretend. Then it's fine. I say reality adjacent.
Well, what's really interesting about this house specifically, too, was that when Kris and Caitlyn Jenner, who was then Bruce Jenner, bought it in 2010, they obviously had it together. They were married at the time. They had a blended family. And then when Caitlyn came out, and when the divorce happened, then she came out. As soon as the divorce happened, Kris actually put the house in a family trust. I don't know what that played into with the divorce proceedings, like how that all went down, but Kris is genius when it comes to how to protect her family.
Yeah.
Like that is how they make their bread and butter. It's also how they're able to just like make bajillions of dollars in all their different franchises that they have.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. Like she put it in a family trust as soon as the divorce happened. So she obviously knew what Caitlyn was going through before that. And for whatever reason, wanted to make sure that house was in a trust and not just owned by 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. And then I wonder what that looks like if then Keeping Up with the Kardashians, or now the Kardashians, needs to rent it.
Right.
I don't know if that helps with some aspect.
I don't know.
Believe it or not, me and Kendall and Mike are not lawyers, but we like to speculate. But that's why we have Helmy
Johnson. But if you need one, call Bill Helmy Johnson. They'll take care of you.
Doy.
This got me thinking too about this article about Khloe Kardashian. Do you remember rewind about 15 years ago when everybody was talking about how O.J. Simpson was Khloe's real father?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That Robert Kardashian, as you know, OJ's lawyer, and they were family friends, was not her father. It was OJ. So Savannah Guthrie was just on Andy Cohen's Sirius XM show, and they were talking about like awkward interviews, and she was, kind of right when I started at the Today Show. This was around 2012. She goes, I was just really green. I was new. I didn't really know how to say no to producers and bosses. But we had Khloe on. She was there to promote her show, Khloe and Lamar, which whoa, flashback. And she said, I don't really remember the details, but the producers really wanted me to ask about these rumors that OJ was her father. And she's like, I was so uncomfortable. I did not want to do it, but I was really not in a position to tell them no.
Yeah.
And she goes, like anyone would do, I waited until the last freaking second of the interview to do it. And she said, in the closing 10 seconds, she said, Khloe, just real quickly, in the seconds we have left, there have been some stories that Robert Kardashian is not your father. Is he? And Savannah goes, God bless her for this, because she was such a pro even back then that she knew how to answer it really well and kind of saved both of us. And she said, Khloe goes, yep, I know, nothing to it. And
it's funny though, because I will say this, she made like 3 episodes around it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So Khloe made bank off that rumor too.
Oh, for sure. And she made jokes then, because then as it was going to break, then they kind of laughed about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who my daddy is, I guess. I don't know. But Can you imagine being in that position where Savannah Guthrie, like you're the anchor of the Today Show. This is the dream. This is the goal. This is the end game. But you're still new enough that the producers and executive producers do get to sway what you're doing.
I
won't
know.
give you the good interviews then.
And you see this too, the producers that have their hands in on reality shows where they ask the new girl to ask the inappropriate question.
Right.
And you're like, why did you fall for that? They're not going to fire you. But like, I can't even imagine if Amy leaned in here and was like, ask this. And we had to ask somebody something we didn't want to ask. I hate it.
And especially when it doesn't have anything to really do with the content of the story. And
totally.
for Savannah, she's
it
like,
could hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah, she's like, Savannah's a real journalist. Like she's even got her law degree. She's an attorney.
Yeah.
Too. And she's like, that is such, Radar Online level content. That,
even Radar Online was like, we'll pass on this story.
Right? Like it's just getting your fingers in that.
Yeah, no, not great. But well, I mean, it's awesome to know, like, it's cool to know sometimes when you go, oh yeah, like Savannah had to do it and she hated every second of it.
Hated it and it's like stuck with her.
Jessica Alba officially files for divorce from Cash Warren. We have no prenup, and they were married for 17 years. She has the Disso Queen on her side, Laura Wasser. Laura Wasser, as we know, has represented big old clients like Jennifer Lopez, Kim Kardashian, Kevin Costner, Ariana Grande. She's probably still working with Kevin Costner, especially. So it was listed as irreconcilable differences for the reason of their split.
Which basically means we don't like each other anymore.
Yeah. She's planning on returning drop the surname Warren. We didn't know about that. Jessica Alba talked to Jennifer Affleck.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't know that, so don't worry about that.
Nobody called her Jennifer Warren.
Never.
Ever.
If you said Jennifer Warren is about to be on your show, I'd say, I don't know that person.
What is she selling?
New phone. Who dis?
I will say you would just reference Radar Online.
Yeah.
Again, this is a Radar Online exclusive.
Oh, yes. Tell me.
But it sounds like, according to said website, that Jessica Alba might start to have to fend off a suitor by the name of
Kevin Costner?
Tom Cruise.
Oh my God.
I guess back in the day, do you remember when Scientology there was a report that Scientology lined up like 5 actresses for Tom Cruise to potentially have a relationship with?
Katie Holmes was one of them.
Katie Holmes was one of them. Jessica Alba was also one of them.
He goes,
he's like, she's the one that got away.
The one that got away.
Should have tried that one. When you started Tom, I 100% thought you were going Brady.
No.
Tom Brady's too insecure for Jessica Alba.
Speaking of Tom Brady, okay, I know, but like it's Super Bowl talk, so it's fine. That man is wild. I can't believe, number one, he's in the position that he's in. Like he should not be the top color commentator
because he sucks.
Because he's terrible at it. But like
he's not the GOAT.
Not at this.
He's more of like the bah.
Yeah.
God, I just like the fact that he's doing things on Sunday. Mike thinks it's his last one ever.
I do. Yeah. I'm happy to dive into that because I do think this is the last time Tom Brady will be commentating a football game. Yes, he signed a 10-year, $375 million deal.
Mm-hmm. In what year did he sign that?
2022.
Okay.
Now, this is me again putting my conspiracy theory hat on, but I'm just saying it's pretty interesting that 2.5 years after he signed that, he decided to become a minority owner of the Oakland Raiders. Sorry, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Right.
The problem with that is because you're an owner of a team, you're very handcuffed on what you're able to do from a broadcasting standpoint.
Is that because it could change the outcome?
Because you could manipulate the market. You could basically say like this upcoming free agent, man, his game was terrible. He's awful. I don't know why any team would be looking at him. And then all of a sudden you pay him.
Swoop him up on an undercut.
20% of what he should be making.
Okay. So it's like insider trading.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And it's also when it comes to one of the things that color commentators and announcers do is they go to practices and they get to watch what the teams are preparing for. So they have an idea of what to expect. You can't have an owner of another rival team inside the stadiums and
Yeah.
inside of the practice facilities of these other teams. And he is not allowed to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have those things. Just a few weeks ago, the Lions were playing in one of the rounds of the playoffs. Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, not to get too deep into sports, but he was a hot candidate for another head coaching job.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders needed a head coach. Tom Brady wasn't allowed to say the words Ben Johnson.
That's going to hold you back a little.
Which is insane.
This is like you're going in to cover the Oscars and you can't say Lady Gaga, Beyonce, or Chappell Roan because of contract disputes.
So
you couldn't do it.
To be clear,
Yeah.
because you're like, it's probably hard for him not to say all this.
That
and
might
to
be why he sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
But did he suck before he became owner?
Yep.
Okay.
So the step further on the conspiracy is that he wanted to become a minority owner so he could casually and in a I got fired way step aside from that humongous contract. He and Fox could both just part ways amicably. Maybe he'll be back someday, but as long as he's the owner of the Raiders, he should not be. Let me just rephrase that. He should not be able to call these games. And the fact that he is, I feel like this might be just play out the year, do the Super Bowl because it's already been determined. And then I think a few months after the Super Bowl, he is going to step aside from broadcasting.
And then date Jessica Alba.
Probably, yes.
It is so wild. Like the couple of games that I did in hockey, like the week before, you have interviews as the reporter, or in the color does way more than that. Like you sit on phone calls with these coaches and you interview them ahead of time so that you have something to talk about if like the game goes to hell.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I just don't even know how he's going to accurately cover the Super Bowl. It's just, it is just such wildness.
If he's doing the game and you're like, wow, I feel like he's not really saying much, that's probably because he can't.
He's like,
Future free agents he can't talk about.
at
Like,
this point, they should just hire me.
Yeah.
Because I would be great at mentioning things like
Would you
it.
be like, so Taylor Swift has
No,
moved
I'd be
3 feet
like-
to the left.
I think it's interesting that we haven't solidified the color, the legit color red we're wearing for the Chiefs. Like, I think we have a lot of shades of red out here, and we really need to concentrate. Let's
Brittany,
all.
we all know you would not be looking at the shades of red. You'd be watching Taylor Swift.
Depends on the game. I'm just saying, I have a lot of random thoughts watching these games, and it has little to. Ever since finding out that bigger numbers make people look smaller. I think that's the code.
Oh, I guess it would make you expand your body.
And so everybody wants smaller numbers. I found that out from Lori. And now we're both like, oh, yeah, that
What?
guy is a 4. Is he trying to look big?
What?
It's a whole.
I've never heard this.
I know. Well,
Have you heard this, Mike?
I've never heard this.
I'll look up
But you
the
learned
exact.
it, you heard it from Lori Burkini, though.
Of
So it
course
must
I
be
did.
true. It must be
Any
sports related,
sports-
specifically, like must be legit. She would know.
Anything that is interesting is. Do you know what I learned today from Donna?
What's that?
Me and Donna at the same time learned that when you guys were talking about the Washington team, if you had said get in
Commanders?
your car and drive to the Commander Stadium, I'd head west.
Nope.
Did not know you guys were talking about DC.
Oh, wow.
DC gets there. Oh, Laura, like literally, Donna learned this on air today, and
That's
I learned.
fun.
I had to text her. I go, I'm learning this along with you. That Washington DC, that little district, gets its own team.
I'm going to blow your mind. They have an NHL team, too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
And a basketball team and an NBA team.
they're
They have a lot
crazy.
You know
for
what?
this.
They got a Major League Baseball team, too.
But we don't
Crazy,
call them.
right?
We should
They've got
call
them all.
We should call them the DC somethings.
Well, the problem is they're also not in D.C.
Of course they're not. That place is tiny.
Exactly.
You can like walk across it in an hour. I learned that today on Donna and Steve, and we both went, dang, I texted Donna going, hey, you're not the only one out here in these streets learning.
You learn something new every day. I
I
remember
sure do.
when my sister was watching a game with us once. We were watching a baseball game. And I don't remember what had happened, but something happened. We were talking about the uniforms. And she was like, I just really love their new costumes. I think they're so cute. And she was dead serious. My dad looked at her and was like, what'd you say? She's like, I love their costumes. I think the new colors are great. And it was just like, we are on different. I love that for you. We are in different ballparks literally right now.